Hey Elias, so we're about to start a very successful open house here. I mean, we already brought some bagels. We do some things to stand out above and beyond, Ilya. And I want to ask you, well, first of all, to stand out as a listing agent, what are some actions we take here to go above and beyond for our clients?
So we, as always, we are focused on marketing. So when a seller hires us, right, they hire us for our marketing.
Yep.
And that's where we focus most of our time, most of our investment, so we can create a maximum exposure.
Correct.
We can have, of course, multiple offers and the smooth transactions.
Correct.
Which is going to be great for the seller. So the number one focus, it's always marketing.
Exactly. Now the great news, Ilya, something big happened actually 2 days ago. And what that is, I mean, for the market, can you tell us a little bit more?
So, yeah, the Fed's announced a rate cut, which was by 0.5, right?
50 basis points,
50 basis point.
Yeah.
And they're great news, and actually it was delayed a little bit, right?
Correct, yeah.
It's been like, how many years?
It's been 4 years, and unfortunately, I mean, they waited longer to raise the rates, now they waited longer to lower them, so, it's part of the game.
This was, I think, a great decision.
Correct.
And we are expecting 2 more cuts by the end of the year.
That's right.
And this will, of course, the decision that was made was just to boost the economy, create more affordability on the market for buyers, sellers.
That's right.
And consumers in general.
Correct.
And also for job creation, which is going to be good.
Right.
We'll see what the impact will be, because this has just happened. But we think that it's going to be a great impact for the home buyers, because it's going to create more affordability. And also for the home sellers, it's more demand on the market. It's going to be giving us more opportunities.
That's right. So as we're here in a brand new construction area in the middle of Savin Hill, beautiful listing, all the marketing material. I want to ask you, what is the main concerns you see of the sellers, and what is our game plan for us to kind of come ahead and kind of approach the market in the right angle to sell the property? So what are the concerns you hear?
The number one concerns among all sellers, and especially for someone who is building a new construction, will be the pricing. Because this is something new. Many times it's going to be a new price on the market.
That's right.
Because you build something which is superior.
Exactly.
That something has been built before.
That's right.
At the same time, it's a brand new construction.
Exactly.
So the main concern is the pricing. So they want to make sure that we do the right pricing of the property.
That's right.
For 2 reasons. The reason number one, the seller doesn't want to leave money on the table.
That's right.
If you don't price it correctly.
That's right.
And number 2, they don't want to overprice it.
That's right.
And the property can stay longer time on the market.
Correct. Also, Ilya, at the same time, asking price is not closing price, right? So we know that better than anybody, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, asking price is like the list price.
That's right.
It's not the sell price. So sometimes the list price is decided for marketing purposes. And we always have different pricing strategies.
That's right. Great.
But at the same time, it's the market timing, right?
That's right.
What do you think about market timing?
Well, I mean, Ilya, seems like people know about it a little bit more, but we get a lot of seasonality in this business, right? So, I mean, we get to see like the demand drops around July, the demand drops around, let's say, December. And then we have these big urges of buyers back in the market in spring, first and foremost, and this fall season as well. But I mean, in this situation where we're here, as you see, Liam, I don't think it really matters, because that's a very unique property. But in many cases, it's really important to sit down with your agent and ask him the question, hey, should I wait to list this? I mean, a great advice you gave me and you gave other sellers as well is, it was Labor Day weekend, and you said, hey, list the property after the Labor Day weekend, right? And it was great advice. We had great turnaround. Properties before us, not many people showed up, and the only reason was just the holiday weekend, right? So market timing is really important. Another thing that's also important is, property condition. So what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, property condition has been very important in the last couple of years for some reasons. We have seen that the interest rate has gone up, cost of construction has gone up.
Absolutely.
So for a first-time buyer buying something, and then if he has to invest a lot of money into the property,
that's right,
then he will not enough money for the down payment, right?
Correct.
We have seen that the properties that have better conditions, the sellers have better results.
That's right.
and those properties are selling very quickly or they are selling successfully.
Correct.
Right?
That's right.
Two things. But some of the conditions are that, let's say, we're taking this property, I believe that this seller
Right.
has done the best they can do.
Correct.
To create the best conditions
That's
of
right.
the property, because you can update the kitchen.
That's right.
But there's a difference between, let's say, quartz countertops.
That's right.
And let's say solid countertops.
That's right. That's right.
Or between stainless steel appliances or high-end appliances.
That's right.
Which here we have the Thermador appliances, which are high-end.
Absolutely.
And something, let's say, more standard.
That's right.
Less
That's
expensive.
right.
Sometimes saving money in few things is not the best strategy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The buyers actually tend to appreciate touches like
of course,
this,
yeah.
right?
The buyers, Also, we always think about interest rate.
That's right. That's right.
We've been talking the last couple of years.
Yeah.
What's your opinion about that?
Like we started this, Ilya, I mean, it's a major event that just happened. It hasn't happened in 4 years. The only 50 basis points cut actually happened in 2007. So a cut of this magnitude is actually a very big deal.
Yeah.
But Ilya, in all honesty, agents and other people alike, they've been promising people that the moment the interest rates start dropping, the prices will skyrocket. But in reality, seasonality, election years sometimes tend to have shaky times, and that might present an opportunity, right? So that's where our expertise comes in to guide the seller during these times, because sure, the interest rates might drop a little, but then there is uncertainty in the market sometimes. So how do we combat that, Ilya?
So one thing is for sure that, let's say, we believe in history, like
That's right.
we believe what happened in the past. But also at the same time, history doesn't repeat itself.
That's right. That's
like 100%.
100%.
Because now, for example, let's say we are before the election,
Right.
but the interest rate are not the same as used to be, let's say, on the last election.
That's
So
right.
the inventory is not the same.
Correct.
So, of course, during the election, we see some people that are more conservative
That's
because they are waiting to see the outcome of
That's
the
right.
election.
That's right.
But at the same time, it depends on the product that you have on the market.
Correct.
If somebody is being waiting for a product like this,
That's right.
they're not going to wait after
Correct.
the election
Correct.
because
Correct.
this property might not be available
That's right.
after that.
That's right.
So that's why if you are a buyer, you have to think about
Correct.
what's going to happen next.
That's right. That's right.
And of course, we have one thing that we have to take into account when listing a property is that we have to match, let's say, the lease price with the appraised value.
That's
right.
right.
Or
That's
the
right.
sale price.
That's right. That's correct. I mean, Ilya, we get to see sometimes, I don't know if this is an experience of an agent or somebody really wants the property, but we receive sometimes multiple offers. And what we get to see is some people, they really overshoot and then they give $50,000, $60,000 over the asking price. And I mean, deep down, we know that probably the property is not going to appraise. So the good advice to the seller is, hey, you do have somebody that's willing to pay $50,000 over the asking price, but your property might not appraise. So you have to ask this question to your seller. Do you want to take something certain of the fair or a little bit higher than the market value and make sure it's going to close, or you want to take a risk? Sometimes risks pay off, but sometimes we encounter some appraisal issues that, we could prevent up front if they take our advice, right?
When it comes to appraisals, is that the appraisal is an opinion of value.
That's right. That's right.
And even the lease price of a property is still an opinion of value.
That's correct.
The price is decided by how much buyer is willing to pay for a certain property.
Correct.
And if that seller is willing to accept that price. So that decides the market value of the property.
That's
and we have seen that people are putting offers over the asking price.
That's right.
But if the buyer has the ability to pay, and we have seen cases that the buyer is willing to cover the appraisal difference,
correct,
then the sales can be successful.
Correct.
So that's why it's important for you as a seller to work with the right real estate agent,
That's
right? Real estate
That's
team.
right. That's right.
So they can guide you if that offer that you are getting is going to be successful.
Correct.
Because if you don't close it to the end, there's no success.
Correct.
So
Correct.
that offer doesn't mean anything.
Correct. Honestly, we're not even in the business of listing homes. We're in the business of selling them, right?
Marketing them. Yeah.
Correct. So that's the most important thing, that at the end the seller walks away happy, or buyer walk away happy.
Yeah.
They have the keys, they have a check. Let me ask you another important thing which we get to see a lot, especially after the interest rate increases. What are some contingencies that they exist and what the seller should look for and how to actually negotiate some of these terms out so we don't get stuck halfway in a contract.
I mean, the standard contingencies in an offer are the main contingencies, the inspection contingency.
Correct.
And the second contingency will be the financing contingency.
Correct.
If you have a buyer with an offer
That's right.
that is supported by lender, or they
Right.
have to fund the project.
Right.
So in the past couple of years, we have seen buyers that they have waived the inspection contingency. We don't recommend that, but
That's
this
right.
has been a reality.
It has happened, yeah.
This is something that there might be other contingencies there, like say a buyer makes an offer subject of selling their own property.
That's right.
That's why it's important that, again, you have the right team, you have the right real estate agent who have experience
That's right.
with these contingencies. So before you decide to accept the offer, you should see what's the pros and cons of this contingency.
Absolutely.
So if I choose this offer with 3 contingencies comparing to another offer with 2 contingencies,
That's right.
then you can understand which is the best offer. And another concern for the seller, after they sell this one, how
Right.
they can find a new home. So
Right,
what has
right.
been your experience?
Absolutely. I
with
mean,
these
you know,
sellers, right?
this actually has been the $1,000,000 question the past few years. Where do I go? Right?
Yeah.
Where do I go? The inventory is pretty low. The past few years now it's picking up a little bit. And then the other thing is I cannot pay more for the next home because of the interest rates compared to this home. But now things start to get a little bit more comparable, right? We've had great success not only helping people sell their homes, but lining up a new property right away and negotiating the exact dates so our seller doesn't have to stay without a home. Also, another thing we do is if they say we really like a neighborhood, we send letters, we put some hustle into the business and we get them off-market properties, which they really appreciate, right? We understand that this is a very important puzzle piece into you making a transition, and we work as hard as possible to make sure that you have a smooth transition, not only on the current property you're selling, but lining up another one right up front. Another thing is, Ilya, which is the most important thing, it's where we spend most our money and we spend most our time, right? It's marketing. So what is the successful marketing strategy? And don't reveal the whole thing because they have to sit down with us, right? But give us a few pointers. What do we do to maximize the return of our sellers?
So one thing is that we have different stages of marketing. So we have pre-marketing, or before we put the property on the market.
Right.
So we have a certain activities that we do
right.
to create an exposure even before the property hits the market.
That's right.
And we have some campaigns like direct mailing, with social media for that. Also, another thing that we help the seller is that we have a lot of services, other services that we are connected, like plumber, electricians, trades, and we give the seller the right advice how to invest their money, so before they do something. Then we have the second phase of marketing is when we go on the market. One thing that we do very good is the mega open house.
That's right.
So when we do an open house, not just wait for Saturday and Sunday to open the door and let the people coming in. Our open houses starts on Monday, and we have various activities that we do during the week.
That's right.
And of course, our follow-up plan after the open house. We are well connected with other real estate agents in the marketplace here in Boston and also around the United States and all over the world. So I would say that our marketing in partnership also with William Revis. That we are well known as a luxury broker. So not like selling luxury properties, but providing a luxury service for our client. And that's why we also, sellers are asking us, okay, you do the best marketing and then you can create this exposure and multiple offers, but how are you going to negotiate the offers, right?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, every single thing we do, every single piece of experience and advice and, training and coaching we get leads to this point, leads to this single point of negotiating an offer. Because if you get into a bad contract, not only you're losing time, but sometimes you cost people money, right? Everything we do is by negotiating the right offer for a seller. That's why it's important to have an agent on your side, right? Sometimes we get to meet these for sale by owners. You go there, they have mispriced the property by $300,000. You go in there and then, they accept an offer under market value, right? What we do is we take a very close look at the offers they come in. We sit down with the seller, give them the pros and cons, and then at the same time, we have very strong negotiations with the buyer's agents to make sure our seller is protected. An example of that is what we did recently at an inspection threshold. We received 3 offers, they all had inspections, but one inspection threshold was $5,000 and the other one was $20,000. This gets our seller covered if anything goes wrong with the inspection report. I mean, $20,000 is a much bigger cushion for the buyer to cover. We go through line by line, where sometimes we even have to ask attorneys advice on some specific
or loan officers.
Correct, loan officers. So all these things lead to a successful closing, Ilya. So I want to ask you, lastly, I've had a buyer's agent the other day, he didn't tell the buyer how much money he has to bring to the closing. I mean, how do we ensure, even at the very last minute before we go on record, how do we have a successful closing, Ilya?
We, as a real estate agent, we also manage the whole transaction. We take it from the beginning to the end. We manage every step of the transaction. We read through every conditions, every subject conditions that we receive in the offer, not just giving the right advice to the seller, but even when a problem arises, we have the experience, of course, but also we are well connected with all the best real estate services. That if a problem arises, we can solve it. And of course, we have that. We want to guarantee that the seller and even the buyer, right? Because this is like a relationship that it's created during the transaction. So both of them, they go successfully to the closing and everything has no surprises. And you get to move to the property, enjoy it. And the seller is moving on to his next chapter.
So lastly, Ilya, I just want to say something that I've seen you do up close. I mean, not only you follow up day by day, but you communicate. I mean, you know, sometimes it's so interesting in this market, especially with these changes on the MLS and things. You ask people to show their home with a very well qualified buyer and they don't even answer. So imagine that. So communicating and the service that you just described is the most important thing here. So people actually get to see you up close, you know, work, make successful open houses. So what's the last piece of advice you have to give to our sellers, to our buyers? What do you have to say?
The last advice, I would say that here at our team, you know, we have created a strategy, we have created a team that also will team up with you. We're not here to sell your property or to sell a buyer property. We are here to help both sides. So they can achieve their real goals or the goals they have in real estate. So we can create a long-term relationship. Every time you decide to buy or sell property, then you can connect with us again and we can provide you that luxury service that we promise you all the time.
What you deserve, right? Super. Thank you so much, Ilya, for your time.
Thank you.
Great.